Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to dive into a really powerful idea, one that's becoming absolutely critical in the world we live in today. It's called multidimensional flexibility. And honestly, it might just be the ultimate survival skill for companies and for us as individuals. Let's get into it.
So, you've seen this happen, right? We all have. In our jobs, in the market, even in our own lives, change is just relentless. So what is it? What's the secret sauce that lets some people in some organizations roll with the punches and even come out stronger, while others just seem to crumble? Well, the answer isn't just one thing. It's a whole new way of looking at what it means to be adaptable.
And here's our answer: multi-dimensional flexibility. Now, this isn't just about changing your mind or having a plan B. It's about weaving together four distinct but totally interconnected layers: your big picture strategy, your day-to-day operations, the technology you use, and, this is the big one, your own psychological adaptability. All of it working together as one cohesive system.
So, the art of bending without breaking is realizing that flexibility isn't just a single quality, it's layered. I want you to think about it like this. You've got this incredibly sophisticated, adaptable machine, but no matter how amazing that machine is, it's not going anywhere without a skilled pilot at the controls. You need both. The adaptable machine and the skilled pilot have to work in sync.
Okay, so let's start with the machine itself. How do you actually build an organization, a system, that is designed from the ground up to adapt? This is the structural part of the equation. We're talking about the hardware and the software of the company.
And it really comes down to this powerful trio. First, you've got strategic flexibility. That's about knowing when to change your destination entirely. Then there's operational flexibility. That's your ability to adjust the route while you're already moving. And finally, technological flexibility means having the best possible tools for that journey. The key thing to remember is these aren't separate. They feed into each other and make each other stronger.
I know this can all sound a little bit high level, a bit abstract, so let's make it super concrete. And we can actually see this whole trio working together in a really fascinating field: high-tech energy management.
So check this out. A 2023 study took a look at pharmaceutical companies, places with these massive, energy-hungry HVAC systems. What they did was they integrated renewable energy, that's the technology part. Then they used smart algorithms to manage how and when they use that energy, that's the operational piece. And because of this, they could flexibly respond to changes in energy demand, which directly supported their strategic goal of cutting costs. It gave them a huge economic advantage. See how it all connects?
And this isn't just about energy. The exact same kind of thinking is completely revolutionizing supply chains, which, as we all know, are under constant threat of disruption. Let's see how that plays out.
A fascinating study from New and colleagues, looking ahead to 2025, compares two different ways of doing things. On one hand, you have the old way, dual sourcing. Yeah, it's cheaper to set up, but it's pretty brittle when things get complicated. On the other hand, you have AI-based sourcing. Now, it's more expensive and complex to implement for sure, but the payoff is incredible resilience because the technology allows it to adapt in real time. It's a perfect case of using technology to execute a more robust strategy.
All right, we've talked a lot about building the adaptable machine. But a machine is just a hunk of metal and code without its operator. And that brings us to the pilot, the human element, the adaptable mind. Because you can have the most flexible company on the planet, but if the people inside it are rigid in their thinking, the whole thing grinds to a halt.
One of our sources just says it perfectly. Beyond structural and process-oriented flexibility, psychological and cognitive flexibility constitute vital dimensions of individual and organizational adaptability. This is where the magic really is. It's our ability, as humans, to deal with tough thoughts and emotions, to stay open, and to stay focused, even when everything is hitting the fan. And this isn't just some feel-good idea. The data is crystal clear. A 2024 study by Ning and their team found this really powerful, direct link between psychological flexibility and mental health. Just look at the chart. The results are undeniable. The higher someone's psychological flexibility, the better their mental health outcomes. It's the skill that lets us bend under stress instead of breaking. So that leads to the big question, doesn't it? If this mental skill is so crucial for our well-being, for our performance, can we actually get better at it? Is this something we can train, like a muscle in the gym?
And the answer is a huge, resounding yes. One of the most powerful ways to do this is through an approach called acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT. Now, what's cool about ACT is that it doesn't try to get rid of difficult thoughts or feelings. Instead, it teaches us how to make room for them, to accept them, and then to commit to actions that are in line with what we truly value, even in the presence of those challenges.
And now this is where it gets really, really cool. A 2024 study from Aaron Reich started combining ACT with biofeedback. So imagine getting real-time data on your own body, like your heart rate, and then learning to see exactly how that's connected to your thoughts and your actions in the moment. This feedback loop makes that invisible internal process visible. And if you can see it, you can train it. It's a tangible way to build this mental muscle.
So now, let's bring it all home. We've talked about the machine, we've talked about the pilot, but the future isn't about choosing one or the other. The future is about integrating them. It's about creating these amazing systems where technology and human thought work together, seamlessly.
And we're already seeing this pop up everywhere. In artificial intelligence, researchers are literally building more flexible models. In the energy sector, digital platforms are coordinating these massively complex grids. In finance, people are finally connecting the dots between having financial flexibility and creating an agile supply chain. The walls between these different domains are just coming down.
So what it all boils down to is this. If you want true resilience in this century, you have to build it on these 4 interconnected pillars. You need the financial wiggle room, you need agile logistics, you need innovative technology, and, maybe most important of all, you need the human psychology to tie it all together. If you neglect any one of these, the whole structure becomes weak.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from corporate boardrooms to the inner workings of our own minds. But let's bring this back. What does all of this actually mean for you?
Look, if there is one single thing to take away from our conversation today, it's that simple but powerful analogy. Any truly flexible system, whether it's your company, your team, or just your own life, needs both an adaptable machine and a skilled pilot. You have to work on your systems, your tools, your plans, but you also have to work on yourself, on being a pilot with the psychological flexibility to handle whatever comes your way. They are 2 sides of the very same coin.
In the end, it's not the strongest or even the smartest who survive. It's the ones who are the most adaptable. The future belongs to the flexible. So the question I want to leave you with is this. As you look at your work, your life, what's the very next step you're going to take to build your own multidimensional flexibility?